They've made it all the way up to 3 seashells now.
Oh man, yeah. They got to make a sequel that's just about the seashells.
Yeah, if they ever tried to explain it, it wouldn't be funny.
Yeah.
I don't know, but just to reference it again, or explain why there's only 2 black people in the future. This is something, you know.
It does. I tell you, that does. I will not be surprised if no one remakes that movie in the next 5 years. It seems like the perfect kind of remake movie.
It does.
I guess. I mean, they remake everything, so.
But like my thing is, as long as they don't try to like make it deep or serious, like just keep it silly.
Yeah, that'd probably be for the best.
Yeah, like the Miami Vice movie or RoboCop.
Oh God.
Or Total Recall.
Oh God.
Yeah, I never saw the RoboCop remake.
Oh God.
I saw the RoboCop. I don't think I saw.
Wait a minute.
No, I'm sorry. I never saw.
Yes, I saw RoboCop and Total Recall.
I don't think I saw Total Recall.
No, it's terrible. No, I didn't see Miami Vice. Excuse me.
Oh, that was so terrible.
Yeah.
It was like, how boring can a movie be and still seem like nothing's happening?
Wasn't
I guess those go hand in hand.
Didn't they use like real bodies or cadavers in some of the scenes and then shot the bodies in cars?
I
had heard something like that.
That sounds real dumb. I don't remember any scene like that. I all I remember is that was about the moment where I said, I think Colin Farrell is a horrible actor. I think we've just established that for sure, because pretty much every movie up to that point that he'd been in, I just absolutely hated.
He was Bullseye and Daredevil.
He had fun in Daredevil, at least.
So yeah, that's supposed to convince me of something.
He was the guy in the phone booth in Phone Booth.
Phone booth guy.
It's what is it? It says Wednesday, right? It's Wednesday, July 10th. This is GameEnthus podcast episode 381. I hope, because I said we did 80 like 3 weeks ago, and we really didn't do 80 because it was 79.
Oh,
I don't know. Nobody even noticed. It's all good.
We're good.
Weird.
You said we're good.
We're good.
We're good. All right. I'm one of your hosts, Aaron. Tiny is joining us.
I am. Hey, good to be here.
Mike is joining us.
Something witty.
That's my thing that I say. I don't come into where you work. It's cool.
You can say it too. It's fine to repeat the joke.
I'm not witty though.
That. Oh man! All right.
After I stepped over Mike's show, we're going to keep moving. We have Shareef. Welcome back to the show. Shareef from Spawn on Me. Science looks good. Math looks good. Is there another one? Rivals of the Deep.
Waterdeep. Yeah, I'm also witty.
You are also witty.
Witty, unpredictable talent in natural game.
Yes. I wonder if you put all those letters together, the beginning of all those words, what it would spell.
I don't know, but yeah, I fly my witty flag. You know. No, it is great to be here. Thanks for having me on. I haven't been on in a while. But man, you guys are almost at 400. That's crazy.
We could just call this 400.
We could. Nobody would even know.
Oh man, it's episode 400. Woo!
You good?
Congrats. You good? Now, but for Shareef, for the folks who do not know all about you, just give folks a rundown of all the various projects and things that you were involved in.
Sure. Yeah, so I'm taking a little bit of a hiatus from Spawn on Me, but I'm still affiliated with that show. So that's spawnon.me. It's a weekly video game podcast. And, it's been going for about 5 years now. Just did 300 episodes.
That's what's up.
So they're in that realm as well. Also, Rivals of Waterdeep is a Dungeons and Dragons podcast that I've been doing. Well, actual play, I should say, because it's streamed on Twitch, but also on as an audio podcast as well. So that's also all people of color too. And we are in we just did episode 35. So they're like 2-hour shows. That's 70 hours of D&D content if you want to dive into that.
That's a lot of content, man.
And see us do things in the D&D world. And Gaming Looks Good, my YouTube series where I dive into a game. Specifically, it's been a little sporadic. but I'm trying to find out a good schedule to do it. I think I'm gonna start doing some shorter videos just to make it a little easier. And my business, Math Looks Good, which is my tutoring service. I tutor math and physics and test prep in the greater Milwaukee area in terms of in person, and I do online tutoring, obviously, globally. So it's been pretty crazy because the ACT, which is one of the big college entrance exams, their next test is on Saturday. So I've been going crazy trying to prep all my students for that. And yeah, so yeah, that's kind of what's been going on with me in terms of the projects and stuff.
That sounds like a lot.
It's a lot. It is a lot. Oh yeah, and I'm wedding planning, so that's another project.
Okay.
That is the project, the most expensive project.
Yeah.
Exciting though.
The most important project.
Yeah, it is very exciting and it's cool because we're definitely gonna have a nerd theme to like things like the table settings and that kind of stuff. So like working on that kind of like details, those details is cool, but wedding planning in general is kind of like a soul sucking experience. Like it takes over everything, including all your money, and we're at the point where like we're like a couple weeks away and we're just kind of like let's just elope.
After everything's been paid for.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's been paid for. It's like
what are the balances on all that stuff? Cancel it.
That's what I'm saying. Let's just go to the courthouse. But no, I'm excited for it. It's
that's what's up, man. That's good.
I've been telling everybody that I'm calling it like Wedding Con. And I'm telling people that I'm not going to any more cons this year because everybody's like, oh, are you going to TwitchCon? Are you going to Dragon Con? Are you going to, to BlurredCon? And I'm like, I can't, y'all. I mean, Wedding Con is the con to end all cons, So
tell them to come to you.
That's my last con for the year.
Well, I'm actually going to Blur. I kind of want to show off, but
of course you are.
It's also half an hour away, so
yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. Weddings. I mean, I guess it's like for you to do what I did was I just acted as inept as possible and was asked to do very little, and it worked out very well. Can you make a phone call? I cannot do that. I don't know. Where is the phone?
I'm sure it was just an act.
Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah. No, there are people who are very, enthusiastic. I don't know. People ask me things. I'm like, red. I don't know. In hindsight, I probably would have been, if I was older, I probably would have been more involved. But at the time, I mean, I got married when I was 23, so I was pretty young. So.
Yeah, very, very different.
Yeah. So, less gray hair.
I definitely got some grays, so it's happening.
Yeah, and it just they just take over and they're trying to come into the mustache. It's a whole thing, man. It's bad. It's all downhill from here. So.
I always think it's a piece of lint in my beard, and then I pull on it, and it happens to me all the time.
I used to think that too.
Like I always think because like I have a cat and a dog, and I'm always like, oh man, like it's just a dog hair that was in the air or whatever, and
couldn't possibly be real.
Can't possibly be a gray hair, and then I pull it, and I'm like, ah.
Yep. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. All right. Well, anything else you want to share with us in this anecdotal phase of the show?
No. I think it's a good amount to share for now.
You want to pull out all the financials for the wedding and just put them up on camera? Okay. All right, cool. I mean, that's up to you, man.
I mean, if anybody wants to hit those balances up,
feel free, right?
Well, actually, I will say I did tweet out and I'll probably share it again. I did tweet out instead of a registry, we're doing like a honeymoon fundraiser. We don't have enough money to do a honeymoon on our own. So instead of doing a registry, we're just having different people just give money to, plane tickets, to hotel, to things like, snorkeling and museums and all that stuff. So I do have that out. So if you go to lauraandshareef.com,
Mhm.
you can access the registry there and help us out.
No,
And that's my dog barking for some reason.
it is.
Yes.
All right. Mike, what's going on with you?
So I think this is the first podcast we've done since this event, but I don't know. I don't remember talking about it, so I'm just gonna go with that. But my wife had a pretty big milestone birthday and wanted to do a themed party for which she chose Back to the Future. And
She did.
yeah, we had more people in this house than we've ever tried to cram into any event we've ever done outside of the wedding.
And we broke as many things as possible, hoping that you would never find out.
Yeah. All right. Well, good. I haven't found out yet, so
Hey,
we're on a
pretty
roll.
good.
But it turned out really cool. A lot of people participated. Some who didn't necessarily want to originally, but with costumes and things, it was a lot of fun. I guess not necessarily the highlight of effort put out, but one of the coolest things is my wife did find somebody who had a DeLorean and was willing to bring it to our house and set it up and show it off to people, take photos and so on and so forth. So it was a neat experience. I don't know that we're going to try to do too many other things like that going forward, but it was cool, and tried to come up with anything that I could think of that was realistic, including picking up a copy of Wild Gunman at Too Many Games and setting that up so that people could play it, which is actually not very similar to the couple of seconds that are shown in the Back to the Future 2 movie.
It's better.
It's well,
Significantly better.
I don't know about that, but nobody walked up with a green plastic colander on their head telling you that it was unfortunate that you needed to put your hands on such a thing because that makes it a baby's toy. But yeah, it was good times. A lot of people, two people on the show were there. Actually, just the one. I'm sorry, Tiny. You almost made it.
You were there in
I
spirit.
had family commitments, so
Apologies.
and
But
You should just brought them along. Just put everybody in the car. That's what I did.
let's put. So the reason my dad had hip surgery 3 weeks ago, and imagine a man trying to, with a new hip, get into the Dodge Challenger that I own, which is why I'm not driving him anywhere right now. So we Uber everywhere when I'm over at their house.
You could have put hydraulics on it like I suggested, but you didn't want to do that.
Oh yeah, I should have gotten lifted. Why didn't I think about it?
well, you could just jack the car up manually every time he gets in and out of the car.
That's an option.
That
best
seems like
option.
a safe and reliable option. Why
Right, there
didn't
you
I
go.
think?
Hold up, Dad. Give me 28 minutes.
Oh
I
man.
should have thought of that. Didn't.
And Mike, the costume contest, your mother-in-law won that, right?
That's true. She
Yeah.
she had a Doc Brown wig and coat and glasses and everything, so it was pretty cool. But some other folks put a lot of effort into it as well. Aaron, I do appreciate your shirt costume.
It was my major.
It was much appreciated. But my older sister did a lot of work on her costume as well that I don't know that everybody got to see. Very Old West style thing, and it was pretty neat. So but far from the only ones. I mean, there was a lot of effort put into it, and we got some photos, and I don't think I have all those photos yet. But
I didn't. Did I send you the ones that I took?
not to my phone. So
Oh,
hey, if you get
I
a
will do
chance.
that. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
Actually, so Nitro got a pretty good photo with his camera because he's got a pretty high res camera. So he sent it to my phone, but it downgraded it pretty good. So what he wound up doing is also sharing it to the Discord.
Mhm.
Yep.
I could get the full res version from that, which I haven't done yet, but I will. So maybe that's an easy way of doing it. So anyway, that's a little bit of inside information, but yeah, it was good times, and there's still some stuff in the house that needs to be. I did a pretty good job of cleaning things up the rest of that weekend, but a few things that still.
You'll never find it, Mike. Don't even worry about it. You'll smell it, but you'll never find it. I'm just telling you. You know.
Yeah. If somebody tried to shove a half-eaten plate of food under a sofa or whatever, I haven't found it yet.
Half-eaten is generous, but.
Oh, somebody sniffed it and said no thanks and shoved it under the sofa.
Oh, and just some detail about the shirt. I'm not really a costume guy, but I went on to Amazon. I picked up a T-shirt that the front of it looks exactly like what Marty wore, like a vest, and the shirt is the T-shirt.
Right.
So that's what I wore. So your wife appreciated it. That's all I really cared about was, she's like, oh, that's a nice shirt. I said, okay, I'm good. So.
Yeah, it never even occurred to me to look for something like that. But
I was hoping that somebody else wouldn't show up with it. And I'd be like,
it would have been great if every single person
had on the same shirt.
Would have been something.
Or I figured, let me be the first person there with the shirt. Though everybody else look like they copied me when they come in after I did.
There you go.
So,
what did you do?
I didn't use my hands. So,
there you go.
So.
But anyway, it's good times, and it's. There was a lot of prep. I mean, look, I give my wife all the credit, really, because she did just about all of it. I was just there to try to help her get what she wanted. And she was ecstatic. So, and the guy with the DeLorean gave her a ride down the street. So for so long, I wasn't entirely sure they were coming.
I'm not gonna lie, we were concerned. Like we were all like, "How long has it been?"
Yeah. No, I don't know if you were there when he said, but what he tried to do was, he said most of the time when he drives to some place that's like a shopping center, there's a lot of people, it usually garners a lot of attention. People want to stop and take pictures. So he drove over to the Walmart down the street and tried to get people to notice. And apparently not too many people, like she said, like one guy was like, hey, look at that, let me take a picture. But other than that, it was,
what? But that's going to happen. Everybody at Walmart that day, they were all Time Cop fans, so they couldn't appreciate the Back to the Future-ness.
Wow.
Had you done a split on a counter?
Very specific crowd that apparently we were.
Shout out to Van Damme.
That's what I'm saying. He was on last week.
Oh, am I following up Van Damme guest appearance?
Can you do the
what do
moves
you
that he
want to
does?
hear?
Yeah, I could do a split on 2 trucks. I could do a split.
But can you get up afterward?
No, but that's not guaranteed.
Could I not die? No.
Yeah, can I not die? No.
I can go down. I will not be connected anymore, and then I will not get up.
Yeah. Life insurance is straight, and then all right, let's get this going. So, yeah.
But that was like the big event. So not a whole lot's happened else worth mentioning. So
our party was great, man. I did not expect the DeLorean. That was a
incredible
surprise.
Kept that as much under wraps as possible because that was a little planning involved in that one. Because
my 13-year-old, we were driving on the street. She's like, "Is that their house?" I was like, "Yes, that the one with the DeLorean is their house." I'm as surprised as you are. Where's he go? So yeah. Good times.
So what else you been doing, Aaron?
Everybody see Spider-Man: Far From Home?
Yes.
No,
I did.
Okay, Mike, you just okay.
I still haven't even seen Endgame yet.
Ooh.
Oh wow, that is a movie that you can see that you probably should see.
It's back out in theaters.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
And they re-released it just for you.
And now it's even longer to make it easy.
Yeah, it is even longer.
With 6 extra minutes.
Actually, in the re-release version, they have Josh Brolin is just Thanos, just regular. Like he's not even Aston. It's just Josh Brolin.
Is it just him?
It's just that's the special feature. It's the Goonies edition. I'm saying 40 years later.
I would kind of like that. Like if Groot is just Vin Diesel.
That would be interesting. But he's really small or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Like Rocket Raccoon is just Bradley.
That is Cooper Bradley. That's right. Yeah. Bradley Cooper. Yeah. Oh, in the chat, Retnu, shout out to Will. He said he just got out of seeing Far From Home. Yeah, it's good. Mike, you should definitely see that and watch Captain Marvel. And yeah, you should catch up on all that stuff.
Yeah.
I really want to discuss it, but yeah. So. but I can't. I don't know why I put it on here because I can't save it so much anyway.
Why'd you put it on?
I don't know. It's a tease. Like
you just want to make yourself frustrated, basically.
Yeah, I mean, there were some things, especially the ending. There were some things. It's like the subtitle of that movie has like 5 different meanings. If you think about it.
It works on multiple levels.
It really, I mean, more than I would have thought. So it is quite good. All right. Anyway, I got to keep moving. Apparently, Cuphead is getting a TV show on Netflix. And I'm not involved in this at all. But this is I put this in the anecdotal thing anyway, even though I have nothing to do with it. Sorry.
Like you didn't pitch it to Netflix?
I did, but typically I don't respond to my suggestions written on cocktail napkins and mailed in jars of mayonnaise. Typically, they don't really get back to me. But
Yeah. So this is weird. Like, how do you think this came to be? I mean, yes, Cuphead is a indie darling, but usually I think it's something that gets turned into. I mean, I know Netflix takes risks on stuff for sure, right? But does Cuphead have the name recognition to? I don't know. I feel like it doesn't. Like,
I don't think it.
Of gamers,
They might find out.
I don't think it needs it. I think because the characters have that old style, they look like something that people think that they should know. Well, who is that? What is that? I should know what that is. That came out 3 years ago. Really? To me, it has that kind of appeal to it.
I think they just look at it and they say, what's cheaper, paying for Cuphead or renewing the rights to Friends or The Office?
Yeah.
I don't think they quite come from the same cup of money. I'm just going to throw that out.
There's a Venn diagram. It's
just Friends.
Just
Friends or Cuphead, you choose.
Right.
I mean, if you like Friends, you like Cuphead. It's like this.
They paid a lot of money. They got their viewership out of it, and now apparently it's going to something called HBO Max.
Yeah, how HBO was so desperate? They're like, what can we do to get people to subscribe to this thing? We'll add Friends, a show that has nothing to do with our channel.
But it's a totally different. Yeah, it's not even.
Why don't they do The Office? At least that's good.
But history has shown you just need one huge thing to get people in.
That's true.
Like
Game of Thrones.
They could have gone with pornography at that point. They did this one good thing.
They got rid of the porn though.
Oh yeah, they did.
They went the opposite way on that one.
They could have re-released First and 10 and just removed OJ from all the scenes he was in. I don't know. Like they had so many options.
Yeah, I'll be pretty interested to like see how this goes because I don't know how well that like wasn't there like a Castlevania
Sure.
series?
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, you haven't watched it? It's fantastic.
I never saw it. I heard good things about
You
it.
should watch it.
Like critically, I just don't know how it did in terms of like
viewership.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, they renewed it. I think
you should definitely watch. I mean, the first season is good. The second season was it. Watch that show.
Yeah. I've heard great things about it. They're just like so many shows, man.
Oh yeah, there's way too much content to even.
Well, it also helps. It's pretty short. The first season's only like 4 episodes.
True.
Oh really?
Yeah, and then
it's like 2 hours.
Like
I'll definitely. I did not know. Oh, I'll definitely watch it then.
Yeah, easy watching.
Like if you just quit this show right now and watched it, I would kind of be like, dang, but I would understand.
All right, peace.
That hurt, but it's the quality, you know.
No, if you sell me something short and good, I'm almost like all up on it. Like when somebody told me that like that show Russian Doll was like 30-minute episodes and like 8 of them, I was like, I'm down.
I still fell off, but I liked it. I just still fell off.
And for 4 hours, I'm good. I'm great.
I'll finish it at some point.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we could talk about this now. The Switch Lite got announced today. Did it come out of like nowhere, or was it just me? I
mean, there's been a lot of leaks about like a Pro and a Mini one. Like, there's been leaks for months.
Yeah, that's true.
Being made for it.
Yeah, but I think that before E3, like Nintendo made it clear, like we won't have any hardware announcements during E3. So I think people figured, some people thought like, well, I guess it's not coming out because if it came out, they would announce it at E3. But Nintendo was like, we don't need E3.
But why literally wait a month? Like it's been a month. They could have just done it last month.
It's Nintendo.
I don't understand them.
That's why.
Also, the name is not like it's called the Switch, but it doesn't switch. There's no switch.
Well, they're following the general principle of let's remove the key feature to our system by you had the 3DS. How do we cut costs? We've removed the 3D.
Well, I mean, think about it started with the DS Lite. The DS Lite still had 2 screens, so it wasn't like the DS Lite. It's 1 screen.
Sure. I mean, but so the DS Lite wasn't even a cheaper model. It was actually just a better version.
It was way better.
The horrible thing that I own.
Yeah, the DS Lite.
The DS wasn't horrible. It just it wasn't elegant.
When I left it,
night and day.
I left it on the table, and my brother-in-law a few years ago walked by, and he's like, "What is this?" And I said, "It's a DS. It's the original DS."
It's a prototype you stole.
I thought it was some sort of a weird bootleg thing that you got out of a vending.
You know what's weird? The one that Reggie showed at E3 the previous year looked way better. I'm thinking
I don't even remember that.
The prototypes.
That was the total prototype. It had like the black strip going down the both screens. And
yeah, but I mean, I get it. It's a prototype. You can't mass produce all of it, but just there was some aesthetic things that looked like it would have been cheaper to mold the plastic to look like that than what we got. That's all.
Yeah,
but what do I know?
I mean, I owned every model of the DS.
Even the DSi XL.
I had. No, I didn't. I had the DSi.
I have a DSi.
Yeah, I have a DSi. I never had the XL though.
I did not have the DSi XL, so I did not own all of them. But
so I got to go buy one. So.
Yeah. But in retrospect, the original DS was clunky. But when it came out, I didn't mind it at all. I was like,
dope.
This is great.
Remember the thumb strap stylus thing that they tried to get us to use?
Yeah, but
scratch your screen.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I was like playing that. What was that game? It was like Touch XXX.
Rub Rabbits and
I bought that
Feel
too.
the Magic.
Feel the Magic.
Yes. Feel the Magic. I was like, yo, this is that weird Japanese stuff that I want more of. And the DS Lite, to me, next to maybe the Game Boy Advance SP, is one of like the best redesigns of of a Nintendo one, I would say, because you have things like the 360 Slim and stuff that I thought were pretty dope too. But yeah, like the Advance SP and the DS Lite, I think are incredible. Redesigns of hardware.
Yeah, I never had the original GBA because I looked at it and I turned it on. I was at some store. I was like, how will I ever see this?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
I had one of those third-party lights that you like strap onto it.
Oh, the Afterburner. Oh, not the built-in.
Is this the one where you actually like
a worm?
It wasn't the built-in one. It was basically like one of those Barnes and Nobles like book lights.
Did it siphon the power from the battery?
Yes. No way. Actually, it might have had its own. I don't remember if you had to put a battery in it or not.
Yeah, my neighbor had the worm light for the original Game Boy, which I think plugged into the
link cable.
The link cable, yeah. So it did siphon power straight from those AA's, which, I mean, hey, it was still better than the Game Gear or the Lynx, or the Turbo Express for battery life.
The Wonder Swan was a gem.
Yeah, how was the Turbo Express with battery life? I never had one.
Oh, it was pathetic. It was just as bad as any of the other color LCD.
One kid who had that thing.
Yeah,
I mean, if all those things, if you don't have an AC adapter, you get to play it once a week for maybe an hour.
Yeah, I remember I had a Game Gear and I always played it plugged in. Like I just basically played it in bed. Like that was kind of the only time.
That's exactly what I did. I even bought, it was some sort of like rechargeable set of like snap-in batteries for that, and those were pathetic too. There was nothing. It was garbage. All of it was terrible.
Yeah, they were figuring out the limits of technology.
The memories.
Sure. So the Switch Lite, maybe it's comfortable. I do like the idea of it having a real D-pad, but the fact that it has no ability to connect to a television, it seems to me like, all right, you've just neutered this thing to the point where, other than if you want to buy it for your kids or something, maybe it's a little more durable, something like that, but it's not smaller enough to make enough of a difference. At least to me, once I saw the size comparison, I was like, all right, I'm totally out. There's nothing here for me at all.
Yeah, I don't think it's for you though.
Yeah, sure, I get that, but
like they can't make it smaller because it has to be compatible with the game with this. Like they did slash the screen size. Like,
I think what's 0.7 of an inch smaller.
No. It's like the original is 6.2. This is 5.5.
Okay.
So like that's already going to cut some of the text off of some of the text heavy games. It might look a little
squished.
I don't think they could have gone any smaller. I personally think I
Sure.
won't get one.
No, it's not for me.
But I think, like, first of all, $100 cheaper is pretty significant.
It is, but don't forget, you have reduced potential functionality depending on which games you want to play. If it is a game like Mario Party, I'm going to say or 1-2 Switch, but nobody's going to play that. A game that requires detachable Joy-Cons, you got to buy those separate.
Yep.
And once you paid for them, you've almost paid for the whole thing, and you still don't have the ability to attach it to the TV.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree. It doesn't have the functionality that I like about the Switch. But I can see a lot of people that never dock it, that never detach the Joy-Cons, that basically treat it like a 3DS. And I think this is for them.
Yeah, I just bought. I don't. Yeah, I never want to play with Joy-Con like ever.
I will say though, I almost wish it was a little cheaper.
Oh, if it was like 120 to 150, sure, like you're starting to make a bigger argument.
Exactly. I wish it was 150. I think they could have got to 150 because the Switch is selling like gangbusters. This is almost like a side thing that I don't think they need to like make a ton of money. So I wish it was like, I think 150. I think I would have almost no problems with it.
But at 150, they have to drop all the other stuff they have in stores by a lot too, though.
I mean, but look, they
should do that anyway.
But like they got rid of that. What's the dock like? $70? Like if you buy it separately,
like 90, something ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, like the Joy-Cons are like a lot because they got the rumble and the IR, which they took out of these. Like and the screen is like smaller. I feel like they could have, if they wanted to. I think at like a 150 in terms of gaming, I wouldn't say it's like an impulse purchase. But I feel like a lot of people would be like, sure.
I went out to lunch, grabbed a burger, got a Switch Lite. Like, why not? Yeah. 175, 180, something like that, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, to me, I just don't care. I like this. The full size Switch doesn't get massive discounts, but there's things that pop around. Whether it's you get this for free or maybe a gift card or something included. It just, especially with like say this fall coming up, if there's any sort of a discount on the original model Switch, the closer you get to the price point, I mean, to me it's just such a limited interest level.
Yeah, I almost wish it was like and I don't know if it is and they just didn't market it this way, but I wish it was like it was like, yo, this is like durable, like this is made for kids, like this has some impact protection, or even something crazy like a clamshell or something, like something that makes it like this is what you want for your 8-year-old,
right? Like a big selling point.
Yeah, and it might be, but they haven't mentioned that at all, so I don't think it's any more durable. I don't know.
Yeah, you would think that they would at least mention that, but like in the video, one of the phrases is, we like to give our consumers options. So the options are, here's a model with less options, buy it.
That's true.
And the two things where they say that and then they show, they're like, also it doesn't connect to the TV. It's like they're within like less than a minute of each other in the video. Like, I don't know. I mean, even if they,
why don't you even walk by the TV? That's the part that gets me. Don't even say it. Don't walk by the TV and say, hey, you can't use this. Don't remind us visually. Just tell us.
I mean, I'm sure they're like saving something, but there has to be a charging port. I'm assuming it's still USB-C.
Yes.
That was my assumption. But it's funny that they showed the back, the side, never the bottom.
No,
they showed the bottom.
I think they said it's still USB-C, but it doesn't output like video through it. It's just power.
And that's where I wonder how much of a cost savings could there possibly be by eliminating that
I
functionality.
think it's more
Well,
just eliminating the dock, not really.
But if they also eliminated the ability, like if they reduced the graphics card essentially, to not be able to upscale to 1080,
Okay.
that is where
okay. All right.
savings would be.
I'll
So-
buy into that idea.
And then shipping, I mean, everything's cheaper. The packaging is cheaper. There's no Joy-Con. There's no dock. Everything is just cheaper overall. I don't know.
I mean, sure. Like, I get the concept of let's not use a dock. It probably wouldn't fit in a dock very well. But to just be able to say, look, there's a cable that comes in that outputs HDMI. Plug it in if you want. I mean, if that existed, even if it stayed, it only outputs 720 to a TV.
Mhm.
At least to me, I could buy the concept. Okay, it's still a Switch. Now it's just here's a Nintendo handheld that plays games
Yep.
for the Nintendo Switch.
Here's your Pokemon player. Like it's fun.
Sure.
That's exactly what it's here for.
And he still snapped his fingers like, hey, let's switch to this same thing.
But it's not the same at all.
Right. Like,
Also, I hate to tell you guys, but doesn't work with the Labo, guys.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Like we have a text group, and I
Will
text
somebody please think of the lab?
so weird that like this is focused for kids, and we're not going to support our.
I don't think Labo sold that well.
Literally, they brought it up in their investor call last week.
And said,
When investors said like, "Hey, what are you doing? Why aren't you investing in VR?" And they're like, "Oh, we have invested in VR. Let us tell you about."
yeah, remember that thing where you
Labo
hold the
VR.
elephant's trunk up in the air while you hold your console to your face?
no, that stuff looked kind of cool. The Zelda stuff and Mario stuff made no sense to me. Like, why even have a VR mode in
Did
Breath
you
of the
know
Wild if you
they
have to
also
hold
added-
it up to your face?
Did you know they also added a VR mode in Smash Brothers
I did not know that.
post launch?
No
Yeah.
thanks to all of this.
Like, it's crazy. Like this is, and let's be honest, aside from the 2 million that Sony has sold or whatever, like it might be the for cost to sales ratio, I'd be willing to bet Labo is the most successful VR platform. So
I don't know.
I don't know if I call it a VR
I think
platform.
PSVR has sold pretty well.
That's a bit generous.
I think Oculus and whatnot are both very, let's say, a very niche market. PSVR has sold super well for
It has.
2 million to how many PS4s are out there? What, 40 million?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, of course. It
But it
didn't sell in terms of the
Nintendo sold
massive
cardboard and like
yeah.
like this is probably from their perspective. I mean, it's just weird that it doesn't support Labo. Like if this is supposed to be their kid-focused product.
I'm surprised that investors would ask about VR as if it was some like huge money printing
Well,
thing.
I mean,
I
they
think
want it
it's
to
more-
be.
Yeah, and I think it's more prepping for the future. They also, I got this from the Giant Bombcast. They also asked about like game subscription service, cloud gaming,
hmm
VR, and there was a fourth that I don't remember off the top of my head. So, like, I mean, it makes sense because hey,
An online system that works.
we see these trends going forward. What are you doing to make us money?
See, I feel like it's as if somebody stood up in the meeting, put up their hand, got called on, and said, "I watched Lawnmower Man 26 years ago. What are you doing about the future today?" Like, what?
I just woke up after falling asleep after Lawnmower Man. Wow. Is it going to kill us all? Yes. Yes, it will. Next question. Shadow Fresh says in the chat that he still thinks VR is the future.
I mean,
VR,
it is.
AR, yeah, it is.
It definitely is, but like not the way that like Facebook is trying to push Oculus, and like I mean Microsoft is like, sure, we'll wait until something pops off and then we'll drop HoloLens on y'all for real.
Yeah. I'm surprised that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And it'll be interesting, Sony, to see how with the PS5 to see how much they really dive into VR. Because personally, I don't think they will. I think it'll still be this side thing that it's like you could buy it if you want, but I don't think they're really gonna go in on it. I think everybody's waiting for somebody to make the first move, you know, and I think if the Oculus Quest does well,
that seems to be like the most. Was that $400, something like that?
Yeah, the standalone.
That's
Yeah,
which
it's
is
like
not. That's not. They're not giving it away. But
and it's wireless, you know, which is what you
that
need.
is the thing. I'm trying to understand, like, what metrics and numbers did Valve look at to say, you know what, we need $1,000 VR platform. Sure, we partnered with HTC to make the Vive, but that's not good enough. We need our own $1,000 VR platform.
I mean, they're making a real
don't
niche
understand,
product for the consumer that can have a PC to power the 4K screens that are like.
But if the Vive Pro didn't sell, why bother?
I mean, because Valve is sitting on such a pile of money, and this is something they are interested in. Why wouldn't they?
That's true.
Like, I mean, as Rhett Noob asked about like Google Glass and whatnot, like HoloLens is that next Google Glass. Like Microsoft's integrated LinkedIn into HoloGlass, so that like, oh, you could look at a person and it'll bring up their profile, and you tell them. It's just super awkward because you're, wearing this stupid contraption on your face.
Right.
Shadow Fresh said investors don't know tech at all. You're right. They just know things. You're probably They're just asking questions about what they think they know.
They're just looking at competitors and saying like, "Hey,
It's
we
true.
see Microsoft Game Pass is doing this successfully," or we say everyone else has a VR product, or
I saw an ad for Ready Player One, and I assumed we're behind where the future is supposed to be taking us.
VR and that's.
Where's our sequel to Battletoads? It's like, it's coming. Just calm down. All right. Wow, we've been on this for quite some time. I was going to say, there was a Shovel Knight board game kickstarted. It was $70. It had its miniatures with it. It's sort of like you put the miniatures on like this on a board, and you slide in like these modules that are like the platforming levels to defeat the bosses. They canceled it, and they're going to try to come up with something that's a little more affordable. So I think they're still going to, because basically it was only one tier. It was $70 was the only tier to buy something with. So they're going to try to come in at like the $30 to $35 range.
Is somebody licensing this from Yacht Club, or is Yacht Club doing this themselves?
What's the Panda Cult Games? I never heard of them, but they had the proto. It looked pretty cool.
I want to,
but when they canceled it, I was okay.
Focuses on finishing King of Cards before worrying about board game.
No. Well, I mean, they licensed it to somebody else. I mean,
okay.
This is prototypes that have been played at other trade shows and things. I did Kickstart it because not initially, but I do like Shovel Knight. But I'm kind of relieved that they're going to come in with something that just has like cutouts of the characters and not like the miniatures at half the price.
I see. I was gonna say just use the amiibos, and you're
which still aren't out yet, which is weird.
Oh, really? I thought they were.
I haven't seen them.
Okay,
You seen them, Tiny? Like King
There's
Knight,
a website
Spectre
that.
Knight.
I was gonna say I think I own a Shovel Knight amiibo.
Oh, I have 2 Shovel Knights, but I haven't seen the other Knights.
Yeah, I definitely own one.
So,
But there's no Plague. Isn't there a Plague Knight one? I thought.
Yeah, I think it's Plague, Spectre, and King.
Yeah. All the ones that were in the DLCs.
Yeah. And the last thing is Psychonauts 2 got pushed to 2020, which is not much of a surprise. I assumed it was 2020 anyway.
Yeah, hey, I'm all push games.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm still finishing the first one, so hey, do that.
Oh, really? Oh,
And
wow.
by finishing, you mean not playing?
No, I play for 15, 20 minutes every day or so. I'm getting there.
Apparently, Plague Knight, Spectre Knight, and King Knight are just sometime in 2019.
That's
They're
what they said
listed
last year.
after November, so who knows?
did they? Does the Switch Lite support the amiibos?
They didn't mention NFC,
Wow.
did they?
That's a good point.
I don't
actually.
remember NFC being mentioned today at all.
I'm
They did not.
assuming that
did
they
not mention
would.
it at all. I don't know, man. They pretty much took everything out of the Joy-Con except
Right, like they're just controllers now
It's you know what?
with a D-pad. It's very
That
nice.
D-pad looks real nice, though, doesn't it?
The Joy-Con
That's
is
a good
the connection point, the RFID connection.
The right Joy-Con, I believe.
If you put the amiibo on the Isn't it the joystick?
No, it's on. Yeah. It's on the joystick.
Yeah, like
So
on the joystick.
maybe you just have to buy Joy-Cons to be able to use amiibos.
Or you have to go buy that DS Amiibo puck.
There you go.
For the original or for the
I mean,
first.
they've got plenty of amiibos planned into next year, so you would think they want people to buy them.
You would think that the product they only came out with a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago now, with Labo, they'd support it with it. Nope.
Yeah. If people didn't buy it,
I mean, the VR was sold out for most places, so I will say I believe people bought VR.
Yeah, I don't know.
So,
It doesn't
anyway,
interest me, so I paid no attention to it.
So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. I don't remember anyone talking about NFC. But anyway,
That's interesting. Tony, how about you?
I mean, we already mentioned Far From Home. Yo, it was cool. I enjoyed it. There are still a lot of questions people should have about and they kind of touch on them, how the world works after what happened in Endgame.
Yes.
There's some real structural logistic questions I have. Whatever. And then Stranger Things came out. Stranger Things 3 came out July 4th. And I happened to be up at 3 a.m. so I watched the first episode when it came out. That was a lot of fun. If you enjoy it, a lot of people I know are saying it's better than season 2. I seem to remember enjoying season 2, but it's been a while since I watched that.
I enjoyed season 2.
So
I did. I wasn't I don't know. Let down is the wrong word. I enjoyed season 1 so much that I had probably irrationally hyped myself up for season 2, and it was good in retrospect. But I remember immediately after I finished watching it, I was slightly disappointed. But
what happens to Sean Austin? That makes me sad.
I know.
And then to immediately see his name in the credits for the first, in the opening scroll for the first time, it's wait, what? Huh?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not gonna say what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, it's been fun, and now, I guess I'll wait another year and a half to 2 years for Stranger Things 4. So
I haven't seen any of it, so I still need to.
it's a lot of fun. It was funny. I was over my parents' house last weekend, and so they were both doing things. So I wanted to catch the 4th episode, to finish it up. So I watched that. They had no idea what was going on. My mom's like, "Yeah, I don't think I'm going to watch this." I'm like, "Okay, so what else should we watch?" We ended up rewatching Spider-Verse, or I rewatched it.
Oh yes,
man, that movie's great.
It really
I still
is.
enjoy the heck out of Spider-Verse.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah. Ever since that's been on Netflix, I've been watching it just randomly during the day. I'll put it on. It's so good.
So, oh man, yeah. So, yeah, that's about it. No other conventions between the last time we were on and today. So,
that's true.
All right. You know what? I will mention one thing. We're gonna, some of us at least are gonna be at the Too Many Games swap thing. I forget what the total name.
That's in September, right?
That's in September, yeah. So we're actually gonna have a GameEnthus table because
Sweet.
some of us want to get rid of stuff out of our basement.
Awesome.
Yeah, this stuff I could probably let go of.
Well, that's we've been
yeah.
talking about the Switch Lite, and I'm like, I still have a unopened box of the Wii Mini that the all
I
red one.
forgot about the Wii Mini. Oh my
that's
God.
all of its.
Whoa.
I forgot. Yo, didn't that come out the last year of its life?
I thought it was just in Canada.
Well, so okay, so
I
this
forgot about
is
that.
important. The one that I have is a Canadian edition. No, they later brought it out in North America too, but yeah, it has no internet functionality.
RCA out.
It's only RCA, or it's only composite
That's
out.
trash. I still want it though.
Doesn't have any GameCube ports.
Yeah.
It doesn't support GameCube at all.
But they had stopped that even before they made the Mini though.
Did it have a disk drive? Did it take discs?
It does, but it's a pop-up, like a big Discman.
Yeah, it's like a pop-up.
So,
yeah.
It's cheap.
It's like a Sega CD.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, it's just
It's like the last model of PS3 where you just slide it open.
So yeah, so I mean, That'll be one of the things I will definitely be bringing.
How much do those go for?
I forgot about the Wii Mini. Wow.
I have no idea. I need to.
I don't know, man. I feel like you might put that on the table. I might end up getting that joint.
I remember because it had like that nice
idea.
red color. It was like a red one, right?
Yeah.
So it's red on it. I mean, it's
like black on the top. And then red.
Yeah, it's red around the outside, and then and it's concave on the outside. So like, and yeah. Anyway, I'll find a picture. It was
It was a
I don't
thing.
know why I bought it at some point. Who knows? I think one of my Canadian friends was like, "Oh, I have this. Like, do you want it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take it." So,
Hey, if you buy a Switch Lite, you get a free Wii Mini. Yeah.
So
It came with a free bag of poutine. You know, who are you to say no?
Yeah. Yeah, just like a Wii Mini with fries on top of it.
Exactly. with cheese curds
with curds
all over the disc lens. You know what I mean? Like you do.
I'm pretty sure it comes with a copy of Mario Kart too. So I mean,
Canadian Mario Kart.
They're much more polite.
They say I'm sorry after they throw items at each other.
It's like a polite version of a Mario Kart.
I'm sorry about that turtle show. I didn't mean to.
Excuse me. Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good.
All right, let's do this voicemail.
Hey, what's going on, GameEnthus? Shout out to you, Aaron, Mike, and Tiny. This is Keon calling from Baltimore. Oh man. Brothers. I have to tell y'all, I opened up my Switch. It's been about 2 weeks now, brothers. Oh man, that thing is amazing. It's absolutely incredible. It has been one of the best gaming experiences that I have had in a while. Now, I'm not going to go crazy and say of all time. Let's not get too far out there. But it has been, I'll say this, it's been the most amazing gaming experience I've had with a Nintendo console since the Super Nintendo. I was not a big fan of the N64. Yeah, they had a few games here and there, but I was not a big fan. I have not sat down and played a Mario game in over 20 years. And playing Mario Odyssey, it has been absolutely incredible. The system is fantastic. But getting to my question, though, I want to know, do you guys think that the Nintendo Switch could be Nintendo's best gaming console that they have created? Now, I know that is a loaded question, but taking their strengths of their portable device and their console and meshing it into one, it just seems, it is really genius, especially when you get it to work. It's amazing. I do understand that what makes a great console is the games, and I know that the Nintendo Switch, to me, I'm new on board. Maybe I'm still on just an all-time high of how amazing the system has been and how I truly was not expecting for it to really hold my attention. But with that being said, I know that it's going to come down to the games. But I'm just rating the system off of what it can do as far as being portable. The first time I picked it up off of the dock, and it continued my game right where I left off. I mean, just floored. I mean, I was just completely blown away. So that's what I'm asking you guys to judge the console on, just strictly what it can do. I mean, the games, it is a huge part of it, and they've been coming out with amazing game experiences as well. So I think they've been doing excellent on that part. Just wanted to get you guys' point on that. You guys are amazing, and with that, you guys take care and have a good one. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Keon, for leaving the very enthusiastic voicemail. We always appreciate hearing from you, man. Your enthusiasm is just, it's infectious, man.
Yeah. It definitely is.
Keon is that dude. I'm glad he opened it. He had a thing for what, like 6 months, 8? He had it for a while.
Something like that, yeah. It was
better part of a year.
I think, right?
In the box.
Right.
So he opened it, and he's finally recognizing the value. That's good.
I'm just curious if somehow he had gotten the Switch Lite.
I keep throwing it at my television, but it's not working. Like,
yeah,
it's never going to.
you lose a key feature. But then, yeah, it's I'm glad you're enjoying it, Kian.
Yeah, better late than never. So, Shareef, I don't want to put you in the spot, but I will anyway. Since you're our guest,
Sure.
do you have any thoughts? Like, do you think the Switch is Nintendo's best system since the Super Nintendo?
Are we do we need to have since the Super Nintendo? Do we need to have a common definition of best, or are we just leaving it to each person to define it?
I'd say the latter. It's a personal thing.
It's favorite or whatever your preference.
Okay, I would say yes. I think you could make arguments for the NES because the NES was just kind of unlike anything else, and I think a lot of people nowadays take for granted D-pads and start buttons and interchangeable cartridges. And yes, you had to blow on it and like all that stuff for sure.
Shout out to Gerald Lawson.
Yeah, precisely. But I went from a Atari 2600 to a NES, and I can't think of many other jarring transitions between consoles that I ever experienced. So I think you can make a definite argument for the NES. Super Nintendo is my favorite, but it's definitely more iterative over the NES. And the NES, as is the N64 as well, and the GameCube, I think. The Wii was out of left field. And while I did love parts of the Wii, I also probably dislike more about the Wii and the Wii U than any other like Nintendo console. So to me, like the Switch has it all. It's the return of third-party support to a Nintendo console for the first time in a long time.
The likes of which we've never seen before.
Yeah. The fact that it delivers on its marketing gimmick, which you can rarely say about most devices.
Even its follow-on hardware. Never mind.
Yeah, the
Nintendo stay.
Even the Switch Lite. They I remember watching it on the commercials, and I was like, they probably took out all the loading time that it probably takes when you put it in the dock. It probably takes 20 seconds to sync up or whatever. And when I first got it and I tried it, I was like, yo, this actually works. It's kind of amazing, and maybe it's just a state of American commerce to be amazed that something works as advertised. But it really does, and this is after some powerful consoles, some powerful portable things like the Vita, have kind of had that flag of this is console gaming on the go, and the Switch, like Nintendo said, we're actually going to do it, and we're actually going to make this your console. And I don't know, I've been playing more video games because of the Switch in the past 2 years. I've just been gaming more because I'm traveling and I'm doing stuff, and to me, it's one of the best consoles ever released. So it's definitely my favorite, like Nintendo console. Yeah.
All right, Mike, are you ready?
Yeah, that's. I think it's one of Nintendo's better machines overall. But yeah, nothing's ever gonna beat out a Super Nintendo for me from Nintendo as far as enjoyment factor. And I would probably still put the NES above. So I'd say, for me personally, the Switch is probably Nintendo's third best machine. But once you start mixing in the portables, it's harder for me to say, because obviously Switch is a portable as well. I guess they're going even harder on the portable now, but I don't know. It's hard for me to really say too much about the others, but I really enjoyed some stuff on the Game Boy Advance, the original Game Boy. But yeah, there's no way Switch is better than a Super Nintendo for me on a personal level. Yeah.
Cool.
But it's still great. Some things it can do. I do wish that somehow magically it could play some of these games a little bit better. It didn't have to sacrifice frame rate or something like that. But I'm not going to ask for too much. But I will say, speaking about the Wii, there's a lot of really good stuff for the Wii. The biggest problem I had with the Wii was not what it did, but what it forced you to do. Because games like, say, Donkey Kong Country Returns, That game could easily have allowed you to use the classic controller and not have to mess around with the waggle or whatever. But they wanted to force you to use it.
Yes.
And Nintendo is famous for that. They're like, here's a game. We could easily make it playable with all the other stuff we're selling. But we're going to say you have to use this just because.
Yes.
And that's that. I find that irritating. But other than that, I mean, obviously the Wii had some really, really innovative stuff. But at this point, I'm not really setting up Wii Sports in my house just to play it.
That was the one thing the party was missing, Mike. I'm gonna be honest with you, was Wii Sports.
Killer title that came at launch for that system.
It was amazing.
You use your hands, but still, I mean, it's dope.
Arguably one of the best launch titles.
Oh yeah.
For a
Probably.
System. I mean, Breath of the Wild is my favorite, but.
But what, like when you think about pack-in games, what's ever been better?
I mean, it's just
Ultra
Mario
Beast?
Brothers.
Come on, man.
But it's solved the whole concept of the system. Like, they could go buy a Wii and get Wii Sports with it.
Yeah.
And super happy with your purchase.
Sure.
Like for perpetuity.
For the rest of time.
It's really hard for me to pick just because Mario and Duck Hunt. I mean.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
definitely cool. I mean, nowadays there really aren't pack-ins anymore anyway.
Yeah, there's no pack-in.
More or less. Even prior to the Wii, what was the last system that really had a pack-in for everybody?
TurboGrafx, Keith Courage, and Alpha Zones. I mean, my mom still talks about that game too. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, what was the last system with a pack-in game? Maybe.
Gotta be Super Nintendo, right?
Super Nintendo,
Yeah, because I don't think Dreamcast.
Mario World was dope.
Like, did Saturn have one? Or those consoles?
I mean, there were bundles later.
Yeah.
No, I don't mean the bundles. I
launch pack-ins.
launch
Yeah.
pack-ins.
You know what? Hexic for the 360.
I mean,
I guess that
Saying it as a
qualifies
joke.
better than a lot of things.
yeah, he's saying as a joke, but like Hexic was actually a lot of fun. Like,
No, it was a good game. It was made by Alexei Pajitnov, right? Yeah. And it was free to download, right? Wasn't that?
No, it was on the
It
hard
was on
drive.
the hard drive.
If you bought a
They-
hard drive model, or if
Oh.
you bought the
So
hard
does that
drive
count?
as an add-on, it came with that.
That's still pretty dope. That was fun.
And I think that was actually the only way of getting it. I don't think they actually sold it on the marketplace, like for people who didn't have a hard drive. If I remember right, there was no way of purchasing it separately until I think it did come on a compilation disc or something later. But
It probably came on that like Xbox Live,
yeah, the arcade,
the arcade.
whatever disc it was called. But yeah, anyway.
So,
Do I have to answer Keon's question now?
yes.
You do.
You have to.
At the risk of saying something unpopular, as wonderful as the Switch is, the Virtual Boy has way more exclusives, and I think that really works
it's
in his
important.
favor.
He's really
Oh, the percentage of exclusives to the Virtual Boy
If you don't have
was
Jack Brothers, you have nothing.
100%.
No, I mean, I think the Switch is fantastic, but I'm gonna be that guy and say that yes, the Switch is finally delivering on the promise of like wonderful Nintendo exclusives that we all want, sequels, some new stuff, great, fantastic AAA games. It's bringing more third parties that we even know what to do with. But the only thing, and I'm laying all this out because my answer is really going to be like, the 3DS is still really good. I mean, because you have the DS library, you have the 3DS library, and all the online stuff. So I feel like we're kind of forgetting about how dope the 3DS
backwards
was.
compatibility.
No, but hear me out, Tyler. Hear me out.
Well, no, because I think you're on the same page as I am, but I'm going to argue the Wii/Wii U that way.
Okay, that's fair.
It's that Nintendo. You look at the online service and you say, "Cool, you get access to these 30 NES games," but the last set of platforms that Nintendo had embraced all of their back catalog.
Yeah,
You could get DS, Game Boy Advance, N64, Super Nintendo, NES games, all through Virtual Console that is no longer available.
well, yes.
Except for the online service, and even then, it's just NES games.
I think what ultimately really makes the Switch so special is like there's no divide. There's no, like with 3DS, it was like, oh, that's the 3DS version or DS version of this game, which is a completely different thing from the console versions. The Switch has just completely just leveled that whole playing field. The console version is the handheld version. And that's cool. That's dope. That's something that I think we wanted with the Vita, didn't really get it, and now we're getting it. But I feel like we shouldn't get so hyped up with that we forget like just how many good experiences there were on the DS and 3DS, even though they were not the same as their, console brethren.
I see what you're saying.
But that being said, Virtual Boy is my answer.
Sweet.
No, I mean it is their best, honestly. I say that just because of.
I guess it's finally starting to like hit me. Once this Switch Lite comes out, I mean, I don't know how many reports we're gonna get about it, but like when the PSP came out, it was like, all right, we finally got PS2 games in the palm of your hand for sure, total, console games. But a lot of people are like, I don't really want to play, God of War or Call of Duty on my PSP because it does. I mean, but with the Switch, for people who do want to play those games on their TV, you just play it as a home console.
Yeah.
You just plug it in and there you go. You grab your controller, whatever. But with the Switch Lite, is it like, are there certain games like...
You're not playing 1-2 Switch. Not a lot of Joy-Con.
Well, not that. But I mean, I don't know how they could ever track it. But for people who own a handheld-only version of Switch, are there certain games that they're going to be like potentially less interested in?
I think there's only a handful of those at best. But I don't know. I mean,
how many people who own a Switch Lite are going to buy like the Wolfenstein games or Doom? I don't know. Maybe some, but probably not that many. I mean, I'm just taking a guess, and I don't think there's any way of tracking anything like that. But I don't think those are the kind of games that people are. I mean, to be honest, from my point of view, I don't know why anybody's buying those versions for the Switch at all. Because either way you're playing it is not the way you want to play those games.
Yes. Well,
and I say that as someone who has an unopened copy of Bloodstained Ritual of the Night for the Switch, who's waiting for that patch.
Patch me up.
But if it's the only if this is your gaming platform, like cool, you have those options for Wolfenstein and Doom there to play. Like that's not having the option isn't a bad thing.
No, and like I will say, I played Doom on my gaming PC and enjoyed it when it came out. And when Doom came on the Switch, I was like, hey, you mean I can get like a couple levels of that like unlimited mode or whatever on the go? And I picked it up, and it's been
I did too. It's
been fun to boot it up every once in a while and just rip some aliens in half, So or demons, I guess we should say. But I mean, I agree with you. If like you're like, this is the only version that I'm gonna get, and you have other options to game, no, you definitely shouldn't get the Switch version as your main version, because those games, the fidelity is a part of the experience.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's not like that for every game, but for those kind of games, it is. And you definitely want to be playing that at the highest fidelity that you can. But if like you want to like, and like I think this applies more specifically to a game like Doom than maybe a game like Wolfenstein. Like if like you're just like, hey, I got 10 minutes to spare, I just want to, get some glory kills on some aliens. It satisfies. That does the job.
It works. The Witcher's coming. I mean, if you want to play The Witcher on the train,
there you go.
That's what I'm saying. I was like playing Skyrim on the Switch. I played Skyrim a million times like before the Switch version, but hey.
Well, you're saying that from the perspective of somebody who could play any of those games on other platforms as well, and you're seeing it as like a supplemental thing. For the person who owns only one system, and that system happens to be a Switch Lite in the future, are those the kind of people that are drawn to a game like Doom?
I don't think
probably not. I'm
what you're saying.
I'm guessing, but
if you're a kid or whatnot, like if this is the console, like this is replacing the 3DS for what your parents get you or whatever, like. Yeah, you might be drawn to Doom. Obviously, you shouldn't be playing it because it's rated M for mature. But like, Yeah, like I mean, yeah, it is a better option than no option. So, I mean, it's the same idea. Like you brought up The Witcher 3. The best chance I have of ever finishing The Witcher 3 is on the Switch version because I'll have it with me and I can play it at home.
Wait. So 0 on all platforms is somehow better on the Switch?
Wait, what?
There's 0 chance you're going to finish that game on anything, but somehow your chances of finishing on the Switch are better.
because I'm not going to sit down to that experience on another platform for that long. Like, yeah. I mean, it's the same idea as Final Fantasy X. I haven't gone back and finished Final Fantasy X since it launched on the PS2. I have now done that on the Switch.
I don't know who you are anymore.
I had the ability to play it in wherever I really wanted, like while I was traveling. I mean, that was the great thing. When the Switch launched, I had like 3 or 4 weeks of travel because we had PAX and I had Extra Life United and so like the Switch was great. And it's also why I never played Mass Effect Andromeda because it came out the same week, and Horizon Zero Dawn came out the week before, and I dropped immediately off of that game. So,
yep.
But Breath of the Wild, a game that arguably is the same scope, I played through because I could do it on a plane, or I could do it waiting at the terminal, or I could do it
in a box with a fox
in my hotel room,
wearing socks.
I can't think of many gaming moments I've had than playing Breath of the Wild, TV at home and on the go. Is literally like something that people have been trying to sell the idea to us for so long, and to have it happen and be like real and like actually work, like it was. I can't think of many gaming moments that I've had that equaled that first couple of weeks with the Switch playing Breath of the Wild at home, and
it was great.
Sure. It does work better than pretty much any other handheld console for that scope of a game to that point. I'll say one of my strongest memory. I mean, I really like Breath of the Wild once I finally did play it, which was about a year after launch. But one of the most memorable moments of playing that game is when I was at the car service station. I'm waiting in the waiting room, and I'm playing Breath of the Wild, and I'm at one of those
by the divine beast
temples. What are the
the shrines?
The shrine. I'm sorry. So the shrine. I'm at the one where you have to tilt the thing, you're rolling the. It's like a labyrinth game.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And the way that thing worked, somehow it just like my mind couldn't like accept the way. Like I would tilt it to the left and it would roll to the left, but I tilted forward in the left and it would somehow like roll back or something. And I was like, I'm sitting in the chair and I'm holding the Switch above my head, trying to tilt it. I'm spinning my arms around. There's like 6 other people in this waiting room staring at me, and I'm just like, stupid bull. And I'm just like, something is wrong. And I
wish
tried
you were caring when you did all this, man. I
tried it with a Pro controller later. I had the exact same situation going. I don't know what I was supposed to be doing to get through that.
I had the same issue with those. They were a little difficult.
I think the only way I actually finished that one is somehow I spun the map so fast that the ball like dropped and then landed on some platform. Like it shouldn't have been able to do that, but it did. And I was like, I don't care. I'm done. I did it. Whatever. Get me out of here.
So this was something else I was thinking of. Is the are the gyros in the Switch Lite?
I believe so.
I don't know, man.
They didn't talk about them today. Like,
I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any motion control at all in that thing.
There's no rumble.
Yeah, I thought the HT rumble was what they said wasn't in, and the IR. But aside from that, why? I mean, 3DS has that stuff. I mean,
I got the sense that
they cut out
literally everything because you just hold it and play it. So
the D-pad is aesthetic only.
Yeah. It was something I was thinking about earlier, and I meant to bring up, and then since we were talking about that shrine, like,
is there a controller option? Like, if you're using one of those controllers that doesn't have the accelerometer in it, like one of those third-party controllers, can you actually do those by like tilting the analog sticks or something?
I'm almost certain you can. Like,
I mean, as long as the functionality is in the software, then there's a way around it.
I I mean, in Breath of the Wild, you can turn off accelerometer,
Okay.
like the aiming and all that stuff.
Sure. Then it makes sense to me that they would be able to remove it without really gutting something that they're promoting. Hey, play this game on this new version of the console.
So a website called Inverse.com has a list of all the games that have motion controls as an additional feature. There's a lot of them, more than.
Well, yeah, like Splatoon, you can put it on as aiming, and like
it's optional.
You can't play ARMS, then, can you?
I mean,
just use the analogs.
You just use the
Who want to play ARMS anyway?
I enjoyed that game for.
Yeah, ARMS was cool, man. ARMS was cool.
When's the last time you played ARMS?
Boys
got high. It's real cool, right? It was dope.
It was
that
cool.
weekend.
It was cool. I did enjoy that party mode of ARMS quite a bit.
2 hours were magical.
H-Bomb Harold had played ARMS recently. I turned into his stream. So
Pokemon Let's Go has motion control.
I have a feeling the last time I played ARMS, I didn't live where I live now.
I didn't buy ARMS because I knew I would never. I knew I played the weekend.
I mean, that was what I bought when I bought the console. It was like, give me the console and give me ARMS, or give me death.
Mario Party, Mario Odyssey. There's a lot of stuff.
Well, so that was actually Mario
Just
Party was
Dance.
another one that I was shocked that they showed, because like they showed the whole, oh, you can have 2 Switches next to each other and like in one mode, and I'm like, cool. How does that work? Like? I guess you went and bought other Joy-Cons, and yeah. Anyway, it was
more of them. Yeah.
I don't know of any other game that does that feature other than Mario Party. So when they showed it on the screen, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I would love it if they did that with like Bomberman or something like that.
Yeah, like I mean, Fire Emblem, like
or
if you're
like
planning
a WarioWare kind of game. Yeah, actually, Fire.
1-2 Switch is a big loss, man. I mean, I can't.
I have my copy somewhere.
I sold that thing like within the first week.
I never got.
I'd love to have 1-2 Switch if it was like $4.99.
Yeah, $60.
That should have been a package.
Yeah, the fact that what would they announce? Well, what was it? The whole what's the Nintendo coupon thing where you get the 2 games?
The voucher.
Yeah. The fact that they had the audacity to put 1-2 Switch on that list is like, y'all high right now. Like, y'all really are high.
I know that Nintendo games hold their value.
Not that game.
Switch, I should be able to get on the eShop for $5. Like or it should be included in like the Switch.
They really should have packed it in.
It's a bit like if you get a used copy, like you might be able to find one for like $20-$25 or something, but even used copies like at game stores are not like, if this was any other publisher, it'd be like no more than $7.
Yep.
So I wouldn't. If somebody handed it to me, I would be like, awesome. I've always wanted to see how dumb this game is.
If it was the third-party game, Super Potato would have built a throne out of them.
$50 from GameStop right now.
That's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
Robbie 1051 also just got a Switch.
Yes, he did.
He was texting me. He's like, "Hey, I need your friend code or whatever." I'm like, here you go. And he's like, "Yeah, we're finally playing. I guess I have to pay attention to when you guys talk about Nintendo now." So I mean, thanks.
No, I've heard that a lot. Because I'm, a lot of my friends last 2 years have been like, "Yo, I'm enjoying Nintendo games for the first time in a while." Like, I think that alone is a testament to how dope the system is. Like, just the fact that people were willing to give Nintendo a chance again when people have been burned for several generations and were just like, I'm not even gonna give them a shot, like, with anything. Like, now they're like rediscovering it. So I think that alone is a testament to how dope it is.
Agreed.
Definitely.
All right. Shareef, what games you been playing?
1-2 Switch. The 1-2 Switch sequel, 1-3 Switch. No, I mean, a lot of it has been Mario Maker. I was a strong advocate of this game for the Wii U. I thought it was one of the few games where I was like, this tablet is perfect. And I made quite a bit of levels in the Wii U version. So when this came out, I was easily like, this is going to be my summer game. I was one of the people that was like, they don't have to change a thing for me to be happy. But they made some pretty good changes to it, actually. They have some really, really good tutorials, not just on like, here's a block, but on like game design, like pacing, and like, you know, like having a theme for your levels. Like the tutorial is really, really good for, I think, people that are just interested in game design. I was actually really impressed by it. They have a story mode, you know, where you're like rebuilding Peach's castle, and you know, it is it's silly, but it has some really funny parts, and you know, and it teaches you like the game. If anything, it introduces you to Nintendo levels, like, you know, like professionally made levels that are still a little bit zanier than you'll find in a traditional like Mario game. So it gives you a lot of ideas. And you know, I've made about 3 courses so far. I'm really happy with them, actually. I think they came out really well.
I played all 3 of them. They're fantastic.
And hey, I got the Aaron stamp of approval. And would you consider yourself an elite platform player?
No, I'm not elite. No. Thank you for answering for me, Tiny, but no, I'm not elite.
So,
Hey, I'm just gonna say I have a screenshot of having the world record on Shareef's first level.
look at that.
Until Greg took
Yeah,
it.
Uriah's joining us.
Look at that.
So,
Yeah. So like I do have one of my courses has like a 3% clear rate, which is interesting because I didn't think it was like that
Which
hard.
one?
I mean,
Which one is this? I'm curious.
the airship one.
The remix or the first one?
The remix one. The
Okay, I
airship.
finished the first couple. I finished the remix today.
Yeah.
You have checkpoints in there, so yeah, you help us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
Considerably.
like a Kaizo Mario Maker player. Like, I'm not making crazy levels that are just designed to troll you. I want to make fun levels, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was surprised because like you can look at the points that people die at, you know, on your levels, and yeah, it's just really interesting feedback. I feel like it really is like, I feel like I'm just becoming better at learning how games are made, you know, on like how like platformers are made, which is like pretty dope. So yeah, that's been taking up most of my time for sure. So all of y'all have been playing this, I'm assuming.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
me
Well,
and Aaron have.
I don't know about Mike.
Did you buy it? Let's start there.
I bought it. I
Okay.
played a
I'm
few
shocked.
of the like rebuild the castle levels, and I felt like I wish that the toads stopped talking.
Yeah,
Yeah, they do talk a lot.
I hate the part where it's like you run out of levels, you got to go talk to them again. It's like
Yeah,
just
and
give me the
you're like,
levels.
hey,
Just
don't
give
talk to me. Talk to this other toad so that they can tell me that you talk to them first, and then it's okay to talk to me.
Doesn't make any sense.
I'm like, just let me play the stupid levels. Come on.
Pretty much.
And then I've not played any custom made levels at all.
Oh
Yeah, I mean that's really where the heart of this game is.
Gotta jump
Sure,
on that.
I'll get there.
Yeah.
But I feel like I should play something else.
Yeah, I mean they definitely don't make it easy. Like even though you have a Switch friends list, you can't automatically view friends levels. Like you can't do that for some strange reason. They gave a whole nother ID for your Mario Maker ID.
Yeah.
So if you gave someone your Switch friend code, they're not automatically added in Mario Maker, which makes
Yes, I mean Switch friend codes seem to be valuable for knowing if you're online and what you're playing.
yeah, and
And
like,
that's it.
but this is like I'm like at least let me access the levels. Like, I mean it's just weird. I've also really enjoyed they like added this like sort of multiplayer co-op where you can just jump on with random people on the internet and just play through like levels. And if you thought that like Mario Brothers U was chaotic with the 4-player stuff, playing through 4-player with these insane levels that people make is just hilarious. Like I rarely win it, but it's always hilarious.
This is like where you can bump into each other.
So like you can you bump into each other actually?
I
like
I played
like
it earlier today.
Yes.
You can.
New Mario Brothers. You can all the versions that have multiplayer. Yeah, you're accidentally jumping on each other's heads and sending them straight into pits and stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like it gets crazy, but it's hilarious and like it's a cool option. I don't prefer it to the single player stuff because I like my precision jumping and all that stuff. This is more just
Is that something you can do locally?
Yes,
Controller?
you can, I believe.
Like any level?
Yeah, I think one of the early complaints was that it doesn't. The levels don't really tell you which ones you can do
yes.
that
Oh, okay.
with.
Because I will say there was a point in time where I tried to set up a local multiplayer game, and we tried, I don't know, a dozen different things, and I was eventually like, well, I guess there is no local multiplayer, and we turned it off and played New Super Mario U instead.
Yeah, I mean this game runs into the typical problems. That's just like, come on, Nintendo, just
This has been solved.
yeah, just do it, just do it.
Yeah, is their answer listen,
You know what I'm saying?
like watch another video where we explain and snap our fingers at you?
Yeah. I'm just like,
Pretty much.
stop trying to innovate in friends, joining friends. You know,
Right, because it's not innovation, it's like regression.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. So,
Yeah. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
so you definitely have to deal with that. But all in all, I mean, this is early on my game of the year list for sure. Even this early, the amount of joy that I'm getting from it. Again, the tutorial and game design stuff, I can't say enough. Like, go through the advanced ones, and they really tell you about, like, you know, don't just put enemies everywhere, or like, or make sure you have like an action part that's like followed by sort of like a down rest part. Like, just really cool things that, like, you know, if you haven't read about like design or thought about it, it just makes a lot of sense.
Right.
So yeah, I've been playing that a lot. Also been playing quite a bit on my phone. So I've been
Phone games. There's games on phones.
There are games on phones. It's amazing. One is I've been playing Harry Potter Wizards Unite, which is essentially I wouldn't say a reskinned Pokemon Go, but fairly similar in terms of the goal. You know, it's from Niantic as well. You're basically, you know, like you're going around the city,
They found their niche.
and like all the landmarks have, you know, like you can like either collect animals from Fantastic Beasts, or like you can battle different wizards, or like you can like brew potions. You know, it's the same kind of like location based gaming. I always love these though because I travel a lot for my job as a tutor. So if I'm in a new coffee shop or I'm parked on the street, I can just, you know, break out the phone and just collect some things and like level up. So I find it cool. Plus, like it like has all the music, you know, from like Harry Potter, and like you know, like the different characters will like show up and that stuff. It actually has a lot of pretty good lore stuff in it. If you're into sort of the lore of like Harry Potter, so. I think it's really well done. You definitely have to be into Harry Potter, though. I don't think this will appeal to people that are not really into it. So it's not kind of like Pokemon Go. I wasn't really into Pokemon, like I never have been, but I played that game because it was like, oh, this is like pretty like cool. Like, but like this game goes really deep into Harry Potter, and I feel like if you don't love that, then
It's not okay.
yeah. But you know, it's like free. You don't have to pay any microtransactions unless you want to level up faster. But like I haven't really paid for anything in it, so yeah, I think it's pretty cool. You know, anyone else playing it?
I have not launched it since launch weekend, so
Yeah.
You're right. Like it is deep Harry Potter, which I enjoy, but like it just felt less pick up and play than Pokemon Go.
Yes, it's absolutely.
Like it was more of a commitment, and then like I was trying to show people, and they're like, "Oh, we need to save Hagrid or whatever," and it's like, okay, so let's turn on the AR camera, and then
Yeah, it's like definitely not as easy as just walking outside and tossing a ball at like a monster. You know, it's like a lot more steps with the spell casting, and then you got to use potions. You have to have enough energy to do it. So it definitely adds more to it, which I think some people will appreciate, but it like also loses some of that like pick up and like play stuff that Pokemon Go had. But like I think it's still worth checking out. Also been playing also on the phone Dr. Mario World.
It came out today, right? Yesterday?
Yeah, it was today or yesterday. I only played it for like a couple minutes. I didn't really get too deep in it, but I was kind of like confused because, you know, if you've played Dr. Mario, you know, it's basically a sort of adapted version of Tetris where things fall down and you're matching up to take out like viruses. And in Dr. Mario World, things go up. So like you're like setting things on the bottom and they float upwards to the top of the screen. And there's not really like it's not as much pressure as in like Dr. Mario where like you're like trying to get it, you know, it's like Tetris, like you're trying to get it down before it hits the ground and you mess things up. This is more like things are frozen and you're like setting your piece and then watch it go up and then things are frozen again. So it's kind of weird. Like if you accept that it's not classic Dr. Mario, because it's definitely not, it's okay. You know, and as I said before, I've only played it for like a few minutes, so I haven't really, I can't talk about it from really getting deep into it, but it does feel just weird because, you know, we've been playing Dr. Mario for a long time and we have certain expectations of what it's going to be. And I feel like Super Mario Run did a better job in evoking classic Mario than Dr. Mario World does in evoking classic Dr. Mario.
I'm just not that wild about Dr. Mario. I don't know, the lasting power to me just isn't there.
I mean, I was thinking there would be Tetris, you know. I mean, I've been playing a bunch of like the Battle Royale, like the Tetris 99 stuff, which I think is dope. So I was in a mood. I was like, hey, this is a new puzzle game that I can just play and maybe level up or link to my Nintendo account or whatever. But you know, it's not really hitting me yet. Hopefully, you know, if I play it more, maybe as I get further in it, it'll get more fun. But as of now, I would say pass on it.
Done.
Yeah, done.
No, sir, I don't want it.
No, sir. Yeah, it just sucks though because I really like Dr. Mario. Exactly with that fever music, that chill music, very good. Sure. Yeah, and also like Nintendo, they released some really creepy Dr. Mario. They like tweeted out some really creepy videos of the viruses talking about like death and stuff. It's really weird stuff.
All right, I gotta check that out.
Yeah. It was like really like existential conversations from the viruses of Dr. Mario.
You're telling me we're getting murdered by some guy that claims to be a doctor because he stapled something to his forehead and throws pills at us?
Yes,
I want to see his degree. Where's his credentials?
Right? His brother claims to be a doctor too, but only on the Wii.
So probably having a lab coat makes you a doctor in this world.
Yeah, it's just weird because like the viruses have voices and I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird.
Did you play the Mario Kart Tour beta that was out a month or two ago?
I did not.
It was fun. It's one-handed Mario. Like you can play it with one hand. It was
how are the controls? That's my main thing.
Like you couldn't really. Nothing was finesse. You could do enough.
Okay.
But yeah, it was alright. Like when it comes out, I'll play it. But I'm not gonna spend any money on it. But I'll play it.
Yeah. And I've been playing what Aaron is not unwrapped yet. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night.
Yes, you have. Showing off.
It's very good. It's very hard, but not like unnecessarily hard. Like it definitely is like a difficult platformer for sure. Even from the first level, which is like the prologue, which is you would think is like, oh, that's pretty easy. They're just showing me how to move and jump. It's a hard prologue. I died several times trying to get
on the title screen.
Through the prologue. I mean, you know, but yeah, it's a cool level up system. There's lots and lots of weapons with different stats and ranges. So if you're into crunching numbers and stuff, you can really dive into that. The art style and the music is fantastic. The Switch version definitely suffers from some reduced stuff and some reduced frames, especially. This is one, as like Aaron said, like he's waiting for that patch. It definitely looks significantly better on the PC because I was able to get like a code for the PC version, and it definitely looks significantly better significantly better on the PC. Not only like just the art, but like the frame rate, which is really kind of crucial to these kind of games.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a if you like Castlevania, it's a great homage, and some people might have gotten the recently released like the Castlevania collection, which was like released on the Switch and like a few other platformers that like has all the old like Castlevania games on it. So like this is a nice little you can kind of do like a direct comparison with like this game and like some of those older games, and I think it definitely holds up well as like a homage to it. So yeah. I would recommend Bloodstained and the Castlevania collection as well, and the Contra collection too. I think they're all good.
A lot of collections there.
A lot of Hey, I love collections. Just like give me a bunch of cool like behind the scenes art and making the game and some stuff like that. I'm a sucker for all that stuff. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Cool. Mike, how about you?
Well, speaking of the Castlevania collection, I have played quite a bit of that. At this point, I have completed the original Castlevania on NES, the Castlevania Adventure on Game Boy.
Yes.
Castlevania 4 on the Super Famicom version because they did add the Japanese versions of all these games. I don't know exactly when because it sort of like stealth arrived where there was just an option on the menu now where it's just like, just hit this button to switch to the Japanese versions of all of these games that we're going to let you do. So I just tonight completed the Japanese. I think I've played through the Japanese version of, in Japan it was known as it was just, Akamaju Dracula. So it's a remake of the original game, and they just called it 4 here. But anyway, yeah, I've played through that game, the US version of that, like probably 30 times or something. It's pretty cool. I started, like, I think I mentioned this before. I started Simon's Quest, and I'm like, I don't think I'm really gonna play through this game.
You got to play through the patch version where they shorten the text of, it's nighttime, it's daytime. The villagers say things that make sense.
I mean, that may help, but I mean, I had the code for, start with every item in the game and the best whip and max hearts and all that stuff. It's like, okay, I don't know. I don't even really want to look up for where I need to go to the castle because it's a lot of nonsense. So who knows? But I do at least intend on playing through Dracula's Curse and Belmont's Revenge, Kid Dracula, and Bloodlines before it's all done. But and then after, or at some point in between, what I like to do, because of the save states, I'll just like fire up a game, play like 1 or 2 levels a night, and use save states as I need to finish it up, and then just save it there and be done. I don't need to worry about passwords or like traditional saves or whatever. Just exactly where I am, pick right up from there. And I wish more games were like that. And in fact, after I had been playing a lot of that, I grabbed Super Mario Advance for the GBA, partially because I never owned it. Like when I bought my original GBA, I didn't buy it. I'm like, I'm not gonna buy Super Mario 2 again. Like, I've played that game before, whatever.
Right.
But I picked it up from Too Many Games like 2 or 3 years ago for like, I don't know, a couple of bucks. And with the GBA SP that I got recently, I'm like, I'll give it another try. And I'm like, I die, and then I'm like, wait, what button do I have to hit to bring up that menu so I can restore my... Oh, this is a regular game. I can't do that. I'm bummed. Like, yeah. Once you do it, it's...
You knew what you were getting into.
yeah, there's just something missing. Like that's all the classic Nintendo SNES classics. I mean, they let you do that, so yeah, I like that. And apparently the new NES Classic games on the Switch online system are going to have like rewind functionality.
Yes.
So that, I mean, hey, anything that makes these games more entertaining, I'm in for, because most of the time, if it's something where you die and you have to start far enough back where you have to repeat stuff that you don't feel like doing, usually I'll just turn it off. Well, now I can just save it and be like, all right, let's pick it up from right here again.
You can lie to yourself and say you'll come back and play it, knowing you won't. I mean, it's the joy of life.
Possibly, but at least so far, I'm powering through with the Castlevania collection. And it's the emulation's good. It really gives me hope for the TurboGrafx / PC Engine Mini. Hopefully, Konami is like using M2 for all of it, and emulation is really good. But who knows? I also, on my Switch, I've been playing a little bit of My Friend Pedro.
Oh, that's good.
It's cool, but man, that frame rate is not good at all. It literally gives me a headache. I can only play like 1, maybe 2 levels before I'm like, I don't feel good looking at this game. I don't know what it is, but it's just, dang, I wish it just felt, or like looked better. Not visually, just like smoother. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's yeah. But otherwise, yeah, it's cool. I like it. It's between the slow-mo and the spinning like pass bullets and all that stuff. It's cool. It's pretty well put together.
Yeah, I always feel great in that game where when you extend both arms out.
Yeah.
They're shooting people as they walk through a door. That's my favorite part.
Yeah. Sometimes
upside down or something
to split the guns just because, even though I don't really have to. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I picked up, what is it called? Hold on, I'm gonna just read it off. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Back from the Sewers, the second game for original Game Boy. I picked that up at Too Many Games for a few dollars. I had never played that before, but I do remember playing Fall of the Foot Clan, the original Game Boy game.
Oh yeah,
and I had
sprites.
fond memories from when I was a kid. I haven't played that since I was like maybe 12. But this game stinks. This game is just bad. For the most part, other than bosses, there is one enemy, and it's regular foot soldier. And they just spam the hell out of you, and you use your the trade-offs between the 4 turtles are, it's like the longer the reach, the slower the item. So Don has the long reach, but it comes out real slow. Raph is real fast, but his reach is very short.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. Like, none of it feels good. It's all garbage. So it kind of bummed me out. So whatever. I probably won't play any more of it, but hey, there you go. It's a game. I went through every TurboGrafx / the chip and CD game that I picked up at Too Many Games. Made sure all of them work. They all work great. When I say work great, most of them are not good games at all. Because I did pick up. They function. I mean, I picked up some like real common stuff that I never really cared much about, just because it's like, well, it's inexpensive, and here's a couple of tennis games that I probably would have never looked at, and I never had played before. And I think World Cup Tennis was the slightly more entertaining of the two compared to, what's the other one even called? Hold on, I've got it here.
World Cup Tennis.
So World Cup Tennis is the one that was. Actually, I might be confusing the two. I don't even remember.
We're just assuming you
World
are.
Cup Tennis is the one that's a little bit more cartoony, and it's still not good. It's a bad game, but at least it was funny. Whereas the Davis Cup, it was like, I guess you're trying to do something realistic, but it was one of those games where if you tap the button, you'll swing, but if you hold the button, you'll stand in place and like charge up your racket.
What?
But then you wind up missing like every ball if you try to. It's just bad. That's why all these games are like, $8 for a system where half the games are, $80 plus or something. So yeah, I poked around with that, but yeah, I probably got further into Newtopia 2 than I've ever gotten in my life. And Bonk 3. Honestly, like years ago, I owned Bonk 3, and I was like, you know what? This game just isn't as good as Bonk 1 or 2. Because I didn't put a whole lot of time into it, and I'm sure I've gotten further into that game than I ever have in the past. And it's actually not bad at all, for all things considered. Like, they did the become giant and shrink down into a tiny thing long before Nintendo did it with New Super Mario Brothers. So I mean, it's not awesome. It's they like you do it all the time, so it's kind of stupid. Where it's like, all right, well, here's the candy that makes you big. Here's the candy that shrinks you down. Oh, if you get touched, then you shrink or you grow. It's like, whatever. It's dumb, but it's still it was way better than I remembered. I'll say that for sure. So, but anyway, yeah, there you go. There's some things I have been playing recently. Aaron, what have you been playing?
I played that free Spider-Man Far From Home thing on PSVR.
Did you play the old Spider-Man VR thing?
I did not. What was that like?
It was bad.
Okay.
It wasn't bad. It was a shooting gallery mostly. Like you got to play with like regular webbing, impact webbing, and I don't know what the third one was that they.
So bad.
I mean, I think for a shooting gallery and a Spider-Man thing, it was fine. Like, I'll put it this way:
it was free.
Yeah.
Yeah. This.
It didn't cost anything. It was fun to play, and I had multiple people enjoy it because they could get their head around.
Yeah. This thing was pretty bad, and I made the mistake of going down. Like, you can swing from the buildings and stuff. I made the mistake of going down to the street level. Like, the character models look like they were like straight out of like maybe PS2, and they don't move. They literally just are standing there. It's bad. Like,
it leaves a lot to be desired.
That's a really nice way of putting
it. Fighting that stupid stone robot or whatever.
Yep, that was bad. And trying to slow it down.
But the idea that you can swing across, they render the whole island of Manhattan or whatever, and that you can swing around all of Manhattan is pretty awesome.
It sounds like better than you might expect for something that's free and its sole purpose is to promote a movie that's currently in theaters.
I enjoyed once you get done beating that robot up, it opens up and there's a bunch of like time trials and whatnot you can do, but you could just swing around the whole.
You can. I just didn't find the swinging mechanics to be like that great. So,
having never played it, I would put money on the table right now that says it's better than that free Ben-Hur game that came out a few years ago.
Yes,
sure. I'm not gonna argue with you on that.
But I enjoyed that game because it was incredibly stupid, consistently.
So I enjoyed Spider-Man Far From Home's VR experience.
Yeah, I feel like for VR stuff, I have a lower. I don't know. I'm like, if I get in and have fun for 10 minutes,
when it's free or like a couple of dollars or something. When it's a $60 title, no thanks.
A little different.
And that's the kind of fidelity difference between that and the Batman game that came out on VR.
Y'all never played that? I never bought it. I don't even know why.
That was only like maybe $20 originally, $30 at most.
I thought it was $40 or $50, but
That's how many minutes it supposedly is too.
Like, yeah, it's not. But like, the funny thing is, it uses the assets from Arkham Knight.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it is much more detailed. If this had been something where they had used the assets from Spider-Man PS4, like, this would have been amazing as compared to.
It also wouldn't have been free, but yeah.
Yeah, it would exactly. Like, you wouldn't be licensing that stuff. So
Yeah.
But
I played another VR game, Mini Mech Mayhem. It's sort of like a chess kind of game, but like it's a board game. It's in VR, and you play with other people around the table, other robots that are around the table. You basically just set up. You command these robots to perform certain actions, like move this many spaces in this direction, shoot in this direction, jump here, do that kind of thing. It seems pretty neat, but there's a randomness to it that kind of bothered me. So I got to go back and try to understand like the sequence of how like you're supposed to anticipate what your enemies are going to do, and then program what you want your robot to do in order to defeat everybody on the screen. But some things get randomized, and that just throws everything out the window. At least that's how I saw it. I don't know.
And that's not a free game, right?
That is not a free game. They are charging money for that one. Yeah. Cold hard cash. Got to mail it to
Shekels?
Maybe. Play some Hero Express. Monsters attack all over the world, and it's your job to drive supplies to the people fighting the monsters. So,
oh, I like that concept. Yeah,
it's like saying trials gives people like an idea of like what it is, but it's not. It's trials in that you're gonna replay these levels a lot because you start when you have your vehicles in different levels. They have the stats are like nothing, like it's trash, but you can improve like the engine, the traction. What else? There's two other attributes I can't think of them: the engine, the traction, and some other stuff. To make it easier to get to the levels, and there's no checkpoints. Like you have to go from the beginning to the end, and the timer is like you picking up fuel. Because if you don't get enough fuel, you'll explode. So you have to just
explode.
Your vehicle just explodes. You have to like brute force your way.
You run out of fuel.
You just explode.
Then your vehicle explodes.
Yes. If you touch water. So if you go backwards and the top of your car touches the ground, you will explode.
This is like a Michael Bay game.
I beat my head against the wall and finished the first level, and it is, man, it's fun though. I like it. It is repetitious because it's kind of the same thing. I mean, you go to another level and it's another creature. Like there's like these creatures are like the bosses, but you don't do anything with them. They're just on the screen, kind of like when you start the level, but when you get to the end, I don't recall seeing the boss or whatever. But it's fine. Play some Etherborn on Xbox One. That's fun. That's like an MC Escher puzzle game where you want to, environmental puzzles. You pick up these little orbs that you use to unlock and move around different platforms and things, and you're going up walls and on the side, and it's pretty cool.
Did you ever play The Bridge?
I did play The Bridge.
Is it anything like that?
Yes.
The MC Escher thing is, I'm thinking.
I had to think about it. I haven't played The Bridge in quite some time. It is.
I mean, that was...
The Bridge was 2D, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, this is 3D.
Okay, all right.
So
yeah, The Bridge was good.
It was fun.
Yeah,
So
I liked
it. Etherborn, it seems legit. Like I enjoyed my time with it. For a little bit of a game called Irony Curtain, which is a point-and-click adventure game in a fictitious it's like, sort of like in the McCarthy era. Mm-hmm. So it's playing off of like people's feelings about the Soviets and stuff like that. But the issue I was liking it, I was feeling it. The problem I had is they gave me 2 puzzles in a row where I had to like put things in a certain order. And that annoyed me because it's like there was logic to it, but it was like, imagine 2 puzzles where like you feel like you had to be in the developer's brain in a row. That's frustrating.
So it's your game.
Kind of, but like if it was
save between the 2 puzzles.
You said, was there what?
Is there like a save, or if you failed the second one, did you have to do?
Like there was no real fail state. You just wouldn't advance.
Oh, okay.
Well, okay, that's the thing. The first one, if you didn't do it right, you couldn't get off the screen. I didn't like that. The second one, if you did it, you're putting slides on a projector into a certain order. If you don't do it right, the audience laughs, which is like telling you did it wrong.
Wow, shaming you.
Yeah. So I was like, and because they were in a row, I was like, don't do this to me. Like I don't like that kind of stuff like back to back. But it controls well. The writing is good. The animation is good. It's just that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But we talked about Mario Maker 2 already. That's dope. Should keep making levels because I'm gonna keep playing them.
Keep making them.
I tried that Thwomp one today. I enjoyed that, but man, some of those on-off switches, man.
Yeah,
You were killing me. You were killing me.
So the reason I put the checkpoints is exactly what you said about those 2 puzzles in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, if you pass something, you shouldn't have to do it again. You know.
I wish more people thought like you.
Yeah.
What else?
Basically, if I'm testing a level and I start to get annoyed by a part, I put a checkpoint.
That's probably a good thing.
Like that's kind of what happens.
That makes sense.
Like if I'm like, shit, I keep dying on this part. All right, I'll put a checkpoint before it.
Exactly. Let's see what else. You know, I mean, Tanya, you're gonna love this part. I'm talking about board games now. How much you love those. Finally play some Pandemic with the kids. Pandemic. Anybody ever play Pandemic?
Yes,
I have.
Okay, Pandemic is dope. I like it. And the kids, our record is 2-1. We lost once. You know, to the game itself. For those who haven't played it, Pandemic is a game where like it's co-op. You're trying to cure diseases. You're trying to cure diseases that are spreading all over the world, and you're working together to sort of synchronize your movements and move to the right cities and trade the right cars and things like that to cure and or eradicate diseases. So
It's Quarantine or Contagion, the board game.
pretty much no Lawrence Fishburne though. But yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. No Greg Neal. So yeah. What else? We played some Ogre Cheerleaders, which is a game I picked up from Too Many Games.
Yeah, what is that?
It's like a rummy kind of thing where like you lay the cards out, and if you get 3 of a kind, I don't know if you get a pair of 3 of a kind, or you get 3 cards from a certain house, like a certain suit.
Mm-hmm.
You can pick them up, and then how you like your score is like the actual number value of the cards you've collected that you picked up.
Okay.
Making formations. The thing is, each card has like an active, like each card makes you do something. You can either like take a card from the bench or rearrange certain things. So it's pretty cool. I dug it. And we also play some How to Rob a Bank. And we gotta get back to that one because they robbed the bank. They took 1 bag of money, but you had to get 4. They weren't happy about that being the win condition. So it was both of them versus me.
I mean, you could have changed it at the end to make them happy, you know?
I mean, I said, you all did well. I said, for our first time, it makes sense.
You all did well.
You all did well. But the rules say 4. They were not happy about that, but it's all good. I'm still playing a whole lot of Mystic Vale with the kids on my phone, on my tablet. I can't stop playing Mystic Vale. And Shards of Infinity, same thing. This is mobile games are kind of dope now. I don't know. Like, they're taking these great analog card games and making really good digital conversions of them. So, yeah. Play some more Magic Cat on the Switch. Cute platformer. Boss at the end of every single level. It's simple until it's challenging. It's a lot of fun. So, if you like just really fun platformers, check out Magic Cat. And we already talked about my friend Pedro. But I keep coming back to a game called Verlet Swing on the Switch. I think it's on Xbox One and PS4 as well. It's just like a game where like I don't know what your character is. You just swing. You just have a mechanic where you grab onto stuff and you swing to the end of the level. But it's kind of addictive. I just keep coming back to that thing. It's pretty dope. And levels get insane. Like it's a game where like you start a level and you're like, there's no way I can ever beat this thing. And then
it's like a Super Meat Boy kind of thing?
Yeah, like 15 minutes later, you're like, wow, I really beat this level. Let me try this next level. You just keep playing it. It's just a lot of fun. What else? I'm playing a little bit of Furwind on the Switch. That's with a little fox character, 16-bit action platformer. I like it. Of course, the power-ups are a little more useful. They're not as useful as I want them to be, but, whatever. And the last game is Fantasy Strike, which has been on Steam for a while now, but I'm playing it on Switch. It's supposed to be, I guess, like a fighting game for like anyone, because it's not really, it's no intricate moves. Like it's really like all fighting games are a chess game to some degree, but like there's a move where you can reverse if somebody is like moving. If they're moving, you can like hit two buttons and like slam them all the time. It's weird. Like to counter it, like you have to like not move. It's like a fighting game that breaks it down to like the most basic controller inputs, but it's still really challenging. So I don't know. That's what I've been playing. How about you, Tiny?
Yeah, I'll finish this up real quick. We already talked about Mario Maker. We already talked for Spider-Man experience. I went back to Spider-Man PS4 because that game, great. Like, it was my game of the year last year. They added 2 new suits to celebrate the release of Far From Home. So they added the all-black suit and then the black and red suit. So they have no powers tied to them. Like, you can just use the regular.
They didn't add the Aunt May, Mom Jean suit?
Peter Tingle? No, they didn't.
Peter Tingle suit.
I mean, there is a... I guess it's been long. There is a suit where you're just in boxers and have a bag over your head in that game.
I don't know.
There's a classic Spider-Man thing where his suit essentially gets destroyed and he's only in a pair of boxers. Though I think he webbed up his face because this is also when he had organic shoot. Anyway, it's comic books, yeah.
Just like a spider would be.
So other than that, I played a bunch of random PS2 games. So I was playing around with the PS2 on the Retro Tink. So like I played Simpsons Hit and Run, X-Men Legends 2. I started the Futurama game and realized how garbage that game is. And it's super weird because so that game, I don't know if they didn't have time to finish it, but it's considered like a lost episode. There's so much voice acting and whatnot from all the original cast that this is essentially is an episode of the show. But for example, all of the text is just like Times New Roman. Like they never put it into the Futurama font guide or whatever. And it just feels like, maybe they only half finished this game. So it's super, I was playing it on there and just got frustrated at one point with it's it misses inputs. Anyway. I also have the Family Guy game somewhere around here, so maybe I'll play that at some point.
You've never played through that?
The PS2 one? No.
Yeah.
I bought it from Second and Charles years ago and never played through it.
Have fun with that prison level if you ever play.
That's the stealth level. It's
right.
Okay, so part of the reason I have it is because I did work on a Family Guy game that never got out of alpha, but it was all going to be a mini game collection. So we wanted to see. Essentially, the license got handed off to another studio because at the same time EA did the Simpsons game, and comparing the EA Simpsons game to Simpsons wrestling or Simpsons boxing, night and day. And they're like, hey, if they can do that level of quality game for this, we could probably do it for the Family Guy game, which is really just a backhanded slap to the face for our studio. Anyway, so I wanted to see what the Family Guy game looked like. We talked about Dr. Mario. I picked up the Stranger Things game on Switch. It's like a top-down 2D sprite-based game where you're going through it. You go through the story of the show and then it goes beyond. I'm still in the show's part of the story, but it's interesting because everyone has I think there's 12 characters, a combination of 12 characters. You always have 2, but everyone has different attributes. So you can have Steve the jock, or one of the new characters, Erica, has a taser, or it's an interesting mix. I guess I'm more shocked that it was a $20 game instead of being something that promoted the show.
Is a Hopper's power just to be a loser?
I think I want to say he has a charge. but I'm shocked it's not just like being like, I'm the police officer. I can drink wherever I want.
His special power, he just sits down. And...
Right, yes. Pick the ugliest shirt possible and sit down. So,
oh, Lord.
Anyway, it's been interesting. I've been looking at it. We got sent 2 codes for Red Faction Remastered Edition.
Oh, nice.
That game runs so much better than the other games that we've seen on Switch from Deep Silver. I'm more specifically looking at my Saint Restore 3 copy. So, like, I've just been playing in the party mode, the, like, hey, go in here and destroy... How much can you destroy in a certain time frame? And, like, it's really... I think I've seen it hitch up a couple times, like, drop some frames, but that's about it. So, I'm hoping to play more of it. But, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And then, even though we were talking about the 3DS for a good chunk of this, I went and bought a 3DS game this week. Mario and Luigi Inside Story.
Ooh, Bowser's Inside Story.
Yeah, Bowser's Inside Story. Because it was the last of the RPGs to come. It came out in January, and I was like, I want to get this before 3DS games are harder to get a hold of. So, and I started playing it. Like, that game's still great. Like, I have the DS version.
I think I started it.
Yeah, it's a fun game. I remember really enjoying it when it originally. I haven't played it since it originally came out, but I remember really enjoying it.
Yeah. So I'm playing that because I beat Chrono Trigger again on the DS.
Started
version.
it again.
It's so good. So that shadow box that I bought for Chrono Trigger, I put it up. I was like, that's really nice. Anyway, so this is my next, like, I guess, bedtime game. So. And yeah, that's really what I've been playing. So, Aaron, right. Where to next?
I think we're going to wrap up and get out of here. Shareef, shout outs, plugs, all those wonderful things.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I did a lot of the shout outs at the beginning, so I guess I kind of messed up.
No, you can always restate. It's cool.
But yeah, I mean, in general, if you go to ShareefJackson.com, SHAREEF Jackson.com. There's a My Projects link on the top of the page, and that'll list all the stuff I do, including Rivals of Waterdeep, the D&D show that I talked about earlier, Spawn on Me podcast, the video game podcast, Gaming Looks Good, my video game YouTube series, Math Looks Good, the tutoring service, Science Looks Good, all my science and STEM diversity posts. And you can follow me on all social media at Shareef Jackson. I may have an article. I can't quite say too much about it, but I may have an article coming out soon related to the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 landing on the moon. Or if you're a conspiracy person, allegedly landing on the moon.
I'm just interested that you got a article published on the moon. Like, it's
look, man,
you doing big things here, man.
Look, man, all that Mario Odyssey I've been playing, which, by the way,
are you getting married on the moon too?
I still never beat that that really hard Mario Odyssey one where you have to fight all the bosses again on the moon.
Oh, the boss rush.
Oh, it's rough.
I still never beat it. I never beat it all the way through. It's hard, really hard. But yeah, I published on the moon. I now live on the moon. I'm part of the Space Force. This is what goes down. So thank God that you booked me now during one of my last times on Earth, because I don't know if you know, but Wi-Fi not that good on the moon, guys. I mean, the infrastructure isn't that well built out, so my bit rate's a little down. My Xfinity is not is not guaranteed.
No, it's not.
That 100 megabits playing on the moon. All my stuff is at Shareef Jackson. You can follow me at Shareef Jackson, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. Still don't understand Snapchat.
I don't think we need to, honestly. I don't think it's for us.
Yeah, but like all my young cousins, man, like they don't.
I was gonna say, I'm on Snapchat.
None of them
died.
None of them respond to text messages or emails. I have to Snapchat them or snap them.
But isn't it like temporary? Isn't a snap?
I don't even know what the verb is.
Doesn't that go away?
It doesn't anymore, man.
Oh,
well, So
Open your mind.
Yeah, you can save it. And
I'm sorry,
it'll
Kawato.
tell you if you screenshot like this.
Yeah, dude. There's
If
all
it's on the internet, it never goes away.
I thought Snap was like a temporary thing. You snap and then,
I mean, like it was when it first came out, but now it's like there's brands in there. It's like a whole platform.
I've
If
never.
I ever figure it out, that'll be the day that it's completely irrelevant.
It's not.
Exactly.
It's pretty much geared toward iOS though, right? Because I heard that.
It's not Android,
But I heard that the Android version is supposed to be like way behind the iOS version.
Oh, I have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I've never heard of people refer it just to Apple. But yeah, so that's my stuff. And if you don't hear from me or hear from me very rarely the next month or so, it's because I'm getting married, as I said before. So
Yeah, man, congrats again. That's what's up, man.
doing that, and then the honeymoon stuff. Should I bring my Switch to the honeymoon, guys? There's a question.
Throw it out in preparation of the Switch Mini.
We'll see.
Does your fiance like games?
I'm like, oh yeah, there's a Switch Lite. Let's do it. Yeah, so that's what I'm getting into. Thank you again for inviting me on. Always a good time to chat with y'all.
Oh, thank you for saying yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mike.
I, of course, as I always do, encourage those who are eligible to donate blood, and those who have pets, please have them spayed or neutered. That's my spiel. Anyway, Aaron, what you got?
Thank you, Shareef, again for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Of course.
Thank you to listeners, folks who jumped up into the chat, and people like Keon leave voicemails. You can be like Keon, leave a voicemail at 202-573-7686. You can also email us at podcast@GameEnthus.com. Shout out to Larry who hit me up. Trying to have lunch with him tomorrow. Apparently he's in the area for work. Trying to catch up with him sometime tomorrow in DC. And Mike, Tiny, thank you both for being here and being unpaid for all these years.
Ooh.
With no actual possibility of being paid.
Wait, is there an option to not be unpaid?
Nope.
Wait, did you say an option to not be paid?
Not be unpaid?
How many
No,
negatives were in there? Did the 2 cancel and the 1 lives? I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, check out GameEnthus.com. There's videos and stuff up there. So watch that stuff. All right, that's it for me. Tiny.
Gotcha. Can you believe it's already July and you haven't signed up for your Extra Life account yet?
I can't believe that because it's not true.
It's not. Just go to extra-life.org and sign up. Raise money for your local Children's Miracle Network hospital. So there's 170 of them across Canada and the U.S. that you can raise for. So you can also check out the link at the top of the Twitch page, or if you go to extra-life.org/team/GameEnthus. And yeah, go donate to your favorite Game Enthus personality. Obviously me. So
Your boy.
And other than that, hey, I'm gonna be at, we're gonna have a booth at NJ GamerCon in 2 weeks. Yes, at New Jersey GamerCon, and then like we talked about, we're going to Too Many Games Swap Meet or whatever. I really need to learn what the name of that event is. So come check that out.
Yeah, the Baltimore Guild of Extra Life I'm a part of, we will have a table somewhere at BlurCon this weekend. I'm not sure where, so hey, if you're listening, stop by, sign up, say hello, all that good stuff. I think that's it. Shareef, any final words, good sir?
Final words. Everyone buy 1-2 Switch for $50 at GameStop.
Any good
They
final
need your
words?
support. Else they go out of business.
Yeah, exactly. They need your money. Like don't just go on there and buy ThinkGeek stuff like I do. Like go there, buy as many copies as 1-2 Switch as you can. Save GameStop. Keep them in business.
That's right. Pay for all those bootleg copies of classic games that they peddle off is legitimate.
Every single one.
We need GameStop to stick around so we can buy more new games that they put back into the case and hand to you for $60.
That's right.
This isn't new. Anyway, all right. Lord willing, we'll be back next week.
Sounds good.
That's it for us.
Peace.
We're gone.